Welcome to Infused Eats, the cooking show where everything's infused with cannabis, especially me, your host, Matt Lamb. Today we're making lemon cupcakes. This episode is brought to you by Urban High Life Products. We'll be using their cupcake cups, but you can also find their silicone molds and their containers, all cannabis branded, and on Amazon and in the links in the description of the video. Now here's what you need. You need 3 cups of self-rising flour, a half a teaspoon of salt, half a cup of infused butter, and then a half a cup of regular butter, 2 cups of white sugar, 4 eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 tablespoons of lemon zest, 1 cup of whole milk, and 2.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. And for the icing, you need 2 cups of chilled heavy cream, 3/4 cups of confectioner sugar, and an additional 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. You'll also need an electric mixer for this recipe. Now the first thing we're going to do is to make sure we have can of butter. You can use any of the methods that we've shown you before, the double boiler, the oven, or the Mighty Fast Herbal Infuser, but you need can of butter. You'll also need some lemon juice, so go ahead and juice up 2 lemons, so you have at least 1/4 cup of lemon juice. And if you're using a cupcake pan, you go ahead and spray that up. If you're using these cool cups like we're using, you go ahead and just line those on any kind of baking dish. Now the first step is going to be to mix our batter. And to do that, we're going to take our flour and we're going to take our salt and we're going to mix them together and then sift them together. Sifting the flour will help us keep a nice consistency, and just set that aside. We'll need them in a minute. And now in our stand mixer or with a hand mixer in a large bowl, you're going to put in your can of butter that's at room temperature. And it's been really hot lately. You can see our stuff's kind of melting. You're also going to put in the regular butter, unsalted regular butter at room temperature, and the white sugar. And then we're going to cream that together using the mixer. And after 2 or 3 minutes, it'll become nice and smooth. And you'll have creamed together your sugar. And then we're going to add in our eggs. We have 4 eggs, and we're going to add them in one at a time. So add in one, let it get fully mixed, add in the next one, so forth and so on. And we're going to be doing that a lot with this recipe. This is going to be avoid any kind of clumping and make sure we get a lot of air and have a nice, light, fluffy batter in the end. So this is where we're adding everything a little bit at a time. Now we're also adding in our vanilla extract. And we're also grating in some lemon zest. Okay, once that's all blended, we're going to start adding in that flour. We're going to add in about 1/3 of the flour at a time. And then also about 1/3 of the milk at a time. And also about 1/3 of the lemon juice at a time. So again, we're just adding things just a little bit at a time so that we get this batter as smooth and light as possible. So once your first round of ingredients is integrated in, you can add a little bit more of the flour, the rest of the milk, the rest of the lemon juice. And then when that's all combined, you can add in the last little bit remaining bit of flour. Okay, and you're just going to continue mixing that until it's all well formed together, but not until it starts to get runny again. So just until it's well formed from this point. So a nice, fluffy, light batter with lots of air in it. Okay, we have our batter prepared, and now we're going to be making our cupcakes and baking them. So we're going to fill our molds or our cupcake tins, whatever you're using, about 3/4 of the way full. And with these larger size cups, I was able to get 16 cupcakes. I baked them for about 15 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, if you use smaller molds, it might bake a little bit quicker than that. But to find out if it's done, you just stick a toothpick in the middle of the cupcake. If it comes out clean, you're done. And there you go. Our cupcakes are starting to brown on top. They look really good, and they smell delicious. That lemon flavor just coming right off of them. The essence of those oils coming out of the zest and all. It's a really great smell. But we're going to need to let these fully cool before we put our icing on them. Now, it's up to you. If you just want to use some cream cheese icing or some store-bought icing, you could do that and really just whip through it. But we're going to make our own icing. Now, the icing that we're making is like a light lemon cream icing. It's really delicious. I highly recommend going through the little bit of extra effort to do this. So what you want to do is take a really cold mixing bowl and pour in your really cold, heavy cream. And then just start mixing that on low speed until it starts to thicken the cream. And it may take, 3 to 5 minutes, but you'll start to see the cream start thickening up and sort of coagulating around the beaters there. So at that point, you're going to start adding in about a third of the time, again, like we did with the batter, your confectioner's sugar and your lemon juice. And just add a little bit of it in, let it mix both of the two ingredients, and then just continue doing that until you've done it about 3 times a piece, until it's all incorporated in there. And you're doing this all on low speed, but you'll notice as you do it, of course, it's going to thicken and thicken a little bit more. But once you have all the ingredients in, we're going to turn that up on high and really just let it start whipping. At this point, it may take another 5 minutes or so, but you're going to start getting a really thick, like soft tips in there, and you can see how thick it gets, and it becomes a really nice, thick yet light icing. And the best way to work with it would be to put it in a piping bag if you have one, but you can also spread it with a knife. But the piping bag actually makes it a whole lot easier to get a nice looking little design on top of your cupcakes and an even coating of the icing. And then with a little bit of lemon zest on top, just to give it a little bit of flair, I think you have a very beautiful, these are light, delicious cupcakes. That lemon flavor inside of there really kind of helps counteract the sort of citrus flavor that you get in a lot of your cannabis and your canna butter. So it really melds well with the canna butter, and using half canna butter, half regular butter, highly recommend that for a delicious, delicious recipe. Again, I'd like to thank Urban High Life for sponsoring this video. I hope you enjoyed this recipe for Cannabis Infused Lemon Cupcakes. If you did, please hit the like button and visit RuffHouseStudios.com for hundreds of cannabis culture videos made just for you. This is Matt from RuffHouse Studios. Thank you for watching.